Get my WWE Smackdown review, September 9th, 2020, September 9th, 22, 23. That's the day of Smackdown. We are gonna go to my video is sponsored by Solomon the Sound Off, JD from New York, Just Alex, The Wrestling Inc., Fightful Pro Wrestling. There's Luigi. Um, anyway, I got more on the way. Hit that like button, leave a comment, please subscribe to my channel. Enjoy this video. There's a lot that we will talk about. We will talk about a lot on on this stream tonight. I've been waiting to talk about this for a while. We will talk about the releases that happened yesterday and earlier today. We'll talk about Matt Riddle, who released today. We'll talk about the TKO, the Endeavor deal. Now, what else? These are the releases. Good My Work commentaries, comment 167. These are the people who were released from WWE. I think 15 or more people lost their jobs. We will go through all of it. And you guys know, Endeavor looking to force Vince McMahon out of power. Yep. We could be on the verge of the greatest day in WWE history again. And new SEC filing revealed that Vince McMahon could be forced down WWE and TKO Group holder, WWE and UFC, now deemed him a liability to their business and ever expected. Actually did not want that. I'll probably show it later on. CM Punk set to sue AEW and Tony Khan. Jay Cardell sees signed with WWE. She working in the Performance Center. That was JD from New York. They're Just Allen. And officer, here we go. Now Matt Riddle was released. So as you guys know, the other news and rumor that you guys know that Smackdown is moving from Fox to USA Network in 2024. I think next year. They said next month that it's gonna be on USA Network. It's not gonna be on Fox no more. They said they'll be a part of the way with Fox, and they have a 5-year deal with USA Network in 2024. So SmackDown's going back to USA Network, same way it was on it. Okay, so Mike will get into SmackDown here. And you guys know Fastlane's on October 7th. Next week on Raw, Cody will kiss Raw. We'll see what he says. Alright, this was SmackDown. We got a great vignette and promo package with Io Sky and Asuka. This is the first time that these two are gonna wrestle in WWE. And this was in the middle of the show. They went 20 minutes. There were 3 backstage segments, and there was a video package to hype up this match. This match was a fantastic match, minus the ending, but this was a great match. These are two great wrestlers. I really think that they should put this on Fastlane. Fastlane's like 2 weeks away. We got 2 more weeks until Fastlane. I think that they should build this up on the pay per view and have you two wrestle. And they're giving it away for 3-on-1, but it probably gonna be Charlotte versus Io because Charlotte came out during this match. She played a role in this match. I think she attacked Bailey. She may have distracted Asuka, and Io got the quick and easy win. They're setting up Io and Io and Charlotte like gonna win the title. Don't know why she hasn't done shit to earn a championship, but she's gonna win the title. She might go into WrestleMania next year, and the draw in to do Bianca and Charlotte. Now Bianca Belair been on TV for a while. Is she injured or is she selling the knee injury from a few weeks ago? Maybe. That's the math they haven't done. I think they'll do it at WrestleMania 40. Anyway, show opened up with John Cena and AJ Styles aligned to confront Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa. We thought that it would lead into that match. That's the match that they were setting up for Fastlane. AJ Styles, John Cena against Jimmy Uso, and Solo Sikoa. Um, Austin Theory came out, wants to trade on The Rock. He came out, he was upset after last week being after he got his ass kicked by The Rock and Pat McAfee. He came out, he was upset. Bobby Lashley walks out in disgust after the Profits fall to LWO. Lashley demands the Street Profits back their suit. I do love the story that we're telling here, and clearly building up to Hurt Business. The Street Profits did lose to the LWO in a pretty good match. It's all setting up the story for Bobby Lashley. I hope this is where they rebuild the Hurt Business. They change the Street Profit character, change their gimmick, change the attire, change their entrance, and call them the Hurt Business. They need it. We also got a vignette with Dawn, and we have Alba Fire and Isla Dawn put a curse on the women's tag team titles. Don't know why. They're still on the main roster, but they haven't been used. I'm afraid that they might be on the next round of Buddy Cuts. Are they going after the women's tag team titles? It doesn't make sense because they're on Smackdown, and they already set a match. Like I'm already setting up Shayna and Zoe against Chelsea and Piper. It looks like they are. I mean, who knows? We also got Backstage 7 with the Bloodline, discuss playing for Cena and Styles. We also got Pretty Deadly, Ethan Prince, Road to Recovery. And then we got, I thought with the best match of the night, the Brawling Brute take on Austin Theory and Grayson Waller in a pretty good match. Probably best match of the night. I'm loving the pairing between Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. I think the characters fit well together, and it's a way to put on keep them on TV. Grayson Waller still on TV. They did announce next week we'll be getting Bobby Lashley on the Grayson Waller effect. And they also announced Charlotte versus Bailey next week. They announced Rey Mysterio versus Santos Escobar for the United States Championship next week on SmackDown. I think that is a pay-per-view match that should be on Fastlane. Don't know why we're getting away for free, but what do I know? Anyway, the main event segment, AJ Styles got taken out by Jimmy Uso and Solo. And then the ending was Solo and Jimmy, they beat up John Cena. Now the plan was to have someone come out. Fan pretending Rock didn't come out. Obviously Rock wasn't gonna come out after he shot the world and came out last week. He wasn't coming out this week. I thought LA Knight was gonna come out. I think the plan was supposed to have LA Knight come out, but it's been reported by Sean Wassat from Fightful Select. He reported that the WWE reported that LA Knight may have tested positive for COVID. They said it was from an injury they dealing with. They say he tested positive for COVID. They said he wasn't allowed in the building because he had COVID. So he had to be pulled from the show. he'll probably he'll be out for a week, and I think he'll come back, and maybe they'll do LA Knight and John Cena versus Solo and Jimmy at Fastlane. It does make sense, and they've been putting LA Knight. He beat the Miz last week. He beat him at Payback. They had that interaction with Cena and LA Knight at Payback. And it looked like they may team up at Fastlane. It made sense because AJ Styles, he sold the injury. He was taken out. He was thrown in the ambulance. So he's not going to team up with John Cena. It's going to be LA Knight. And I think the plan is to do LA Knight and Roman Reigns at Crown Jewels in Saudi Arabia next month. I hope not. I don't want to see LA Knight be fed to John Cena. I don't want to see that. I don't like that at all. That's gonna harm LA Knight momentum. But what do I know? Alright, let's go back into the podcast then.
Slide splat. That's splat to be done by sliding underneath the bottom rope and landing on his opponent. He went for a slide splash, but Dawkins moved forward and Mysterio landed. They come back from break. EO hit a pair of springboard shotgun drop kicks. He landed a.
Alright. Hold on.
I don't think AEW had a bad taste. It won't be. So we'll have to figure that one out.
I will talk about the release in just a little bit, but not now.
NBC Universe, especially, it won't be sleeping now.
All right.
All the belts, and even that was.
We did.
So that is not going to be the way we go about things, but there is one really big thing happening on Rampage. We'll talk about it at the end.
And kicked her out to the apron. So Io attempts a sunset flip bump. Comes out, she's got a hold of Asuka. She's trying to do the follow through on the sunset bump. Asuka holds on, and Io did not really, she didn't stick the landing. I always cringe on that. Down, he goes for a cover, gets a 2 count. Escobar hit a knee on Dawkins, tagged in Mysterio. He immediately went for a tornado DDT. Mysterio set up for a 619, but Dawkins countered with a beautiful sky-high power bomb. Dawkins then body dropped Mysterio over the top rope, and Mysterio landed on Montez. Bobby Lashley interjects himself, choke slammed Mysterio on the ring apron behind the referee's back. Dawkins lifted Mysterio up for a powerbomb, but Mysterio rolled Dawkins up from behind with a leverage pin. 1, 2, 3. Man, oh man, Bobby Lashley set Dawkins up for the win, and they did not capitalize on Escobar and Mysterio. Profits lose, and Bobby Lashley's pissed. After the match, Lashley left ringside without the Street Profits, as they both looked dejected in the middle of the ring. Now, I actually quite like this. Like I said, I thought I was going to see Escobar and Ray maybe kind of have a little bit of a miscommunication, which led to their match next week, and Santos being upset with Ray for losing this match. But it was actually the other way around. It looks like they're going to slow burn Escobar and Mysterio, and right now the story is with the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley coming out of this match. Now, Cole went on to say that the Profits seem to be struggling to take on this new attitude that Lashley wants. So the story is that they don't know how to really be what Bobby Lashley needs them to be because they're so stuck in their old ways. They like to party, they're very jovial, they're very excited and over the top. You know, it's a little bit different. Now, that doesn't make them a bad tag team. They were a very good tag team before that. But Bobby Lashley wants killers. Bobby Lashley wants guys in his group that are going to take the ball and absolutely slam dunk it home. That's what he wants. He doesn't want any hesitation at all. He doesn't want to look at these guys losing matches. He wants wins, dominating wins. So Bobby Lashley's obviously going to be pissed. And Bobby Lashley did address the Street Profits later in the show, and we'll talk about that when we get there, which I thought was a fantastic segment. Very short, very sweet, but fantastic nonetheless. Austin Theory. All of a sudden, he showed up at ringside after this match was over because Michael Cole was pretending he was The Rock out there as they were touting The Rock, and 153 million views across their social media for his return. They said it was the most socially viewed video of the entire year. So Austin Theory's out there upset with the video package. He yanks the lid off of the commentary desk and yelled at all three commentators. Cole asked Theory what was he upset about. And what are you upset about, man? Graves said he obviously feels disrespected. Everybody came out from the back, referees, officials. They tried to yell at Theory to calm down, and they tried to usher him to the back. So Austin Theory, man's getting some attitude adjustment. I like it. He looked good in that segment with The Rock, and his attitude here looked very good following that on this week's SmackDown. Good stuff. Backstage, Adam Pearce was seen yelling at Austin Theory and told Theory that he can't hijack the show because his feelings got hurt. They crossed paths with Ridge Holland and Butch. Ridge Holland smiled and said he liked seeing him get slapped around by The Rock. Grayson Waller walked up to the scene and told Theory to relax because he said these blokes were jealous. Butch challenged them to a tag team match. Pearce liked the idea. Grayson Waller did not. Pearce said he had to go find Paul Heyman. But the match is made. Remember when I said Bobby Lashley spoke to the Street Profits? It happened right after this segment. Backstage, the Profits were shown walking into Bobby Lashley's dressing room. You had it won, and you didn't finish him. He was talking to Dawkins because he set up Dawkins right there for Rey Mysterio. He says he wants the watches, the suits, and everything I gave to you guys back. If you can't pull the trigger, you can go back to catering, and I'll find someone who can. So, a little tough love here by Bobby Lashley. You think the Street Profits are going to get with the fucking program that Bobby Lashley wants? Absolutely. I like this story. I like it a lot. Next time the Profits are in there, Bobby Lashley's going to leave with a smile on his face because the Profits are going to win, and they're going to do it in dominating fashion. Asuka. I'm surprised this match did not main event the show.
No shortcuts.
Yeah,
No.
me too.
There's small choices, but
Not main event the show. Of all the matches that WWE has given the women that have main evented any show, Raw or SmackDown or even NXT, this match did not main event this show. I don't know, man. A little bizarre. Io, she's out there. She makes her entrance. Asuka, obviously first, makes her entrance. So we got the formal ring introductions here, and then as the match was about to begin, Charlotte Flair has to take the spotlight away from both Asuka and Io, at least for about 2 minutes. She makes her ring entrance, full ring entrance, and everything. She got her theme music played. She walked very slowly down the aisle, and she took a seat by commentary. Why does she need an entrance when she's not in the match? Why does she need an entrance when this match has absolutely nothing to do with Charlotte Flair? And then you want to know why fans, when they look at Charlotte Flair, they want to... WWE takes the plunger and shoves it down your throat. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know what Asuka and Io cooked up, man, but I'd like to see a little bit more of it. I'd like to see round 2. I thought this was a fun match. It went almost 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Wow, man, where's Vince? Where was Vince, man? Was Vince even aware that this match went 20 minutes? If Vince was in charge, if Vince was there, or Vince had any kind of say tonight, this match would have been given 3 minutes. Never mind 19 minutes. They worked their asses off, man. Listen, it wasn't an absolute fucking classic. It wasn't a match of the year candidate. It was a solid match. They worked their asses off. They hit hard. It wasn't pretty through all 19 minutes or so. But good on WWE for giving 2 of their very best in the division almost 20 minutes for the World Championship. It's exactly what we want as a fan base. I liked the finish, too. I thought the finish was a little screwy and a little sloppy at the end, but I liked the way the finish actually ended up in this match.
And as we know in WWE, forever does not really last forever, as Dolph Ziggler found out. Sheamus is still actively, unlike Dolph, he's still actively being used on TV. He really had this reinvigorated, renewed push late last year, especially coming out of the Clash of the Castle match with Gunther. Still has not won the Intercontinental title. He had fucking cried. He left before he had a chance to win the championship. So I don't see Sheamus going in. I personally don't see this being a big story because I can't imagine being cut. I can't imagine leaving. But
Arm over the top rope. Io then hit a pair of springboard shotgun drop kicks, which always look beautiful, man. I love that move when Io does it. The shotgun drop kick looks beautiful. Sky hit a double stomp and then double knees. So great looking offense there by Io. She goes for cover, gets a 2 count. Io went up top. Asuka cut her off and slammed her on the top turnbuckle. Io came right back and slapped the shit out of Asuka. Asuka came right back and hit some big kicks. Asuka then landed a superplex, which led to a very close near fall for Asuka. Sky started to come back again, and she ran into a knee. Asuka got a 2 count, and Sky came back with a throat thrust, which she went for a cover on. She got a 2 count. Sky hit a German suplex.
I don't want to be thinking about Nia Jax. I don't want to be thinking about Nia Jax on Monday either. But I certainly don't want to be thinking about her on Friday. Let's leave that on Monday. Please do. I don't want to be talking about holes. The Waller beat up Butch. Start things off here. Butch came back. He did the finger snap spot. And he tagged in Holland. Holland swung Waller around, lifted him for a suplex. Butch tagged in. He hit a shotgun drop kick. Butch ran the ropes. And outside, Austin Theory held the ropes open. So Butch went flying out. Late in the match, Butch landed a moonsault. Oh my God. Who is that? Base Beerus, God of Seduction. Perfectly timed, but screw you. With that $15 super chat, thank you very much. I kid God of Seduction. I appreciate it. Sounds like a dying animal. I swear to God. It sounds like a cat being dragged down the road. Oh my God. So late in the match, Butch hit a moonsault on Waller on the floor.
After this second commercial break, we're back in the ring. Sky was working a rear chin lock in the ring, so, they were... broke up the submission. Asuka came back and kicked Sky in the face, which got Asuka for a 2 count. Asuka went to the second rope, hit a missile dropkick, which was good enough for another 2 count. They then traded elbows, and they were both in the middle of the ring on their knees. Asuka rolled into an armbar, which turned into another Asuka lock, and Io fought out of that. Asuka came right back, went for the Asuka lock again. Sky fought out again. Asuka goes for another Asuka lock. And Io this time is fading. But the positioning of Asuka and Io is so close to the ropes. She was fading. The referee was on his stomach looking for Io, about to call the bell. And all of a sudden, Bayley takes Io's leg and positions it on the rope behind the referee's back, and he's forced to break the hold because Io, unconscious, put her leg on the rope, and he had no idea it was Bayley. All of a sudden, Charlotte walks over. She conveyor belts her way over to Bayley and then delivers a big elbow to Bayley, knocks her out. Sky, all of a sudden, she's 1 minute fading in the Asuka lock, and then after this, all of a sudden, pops right back up like she got a shot.
They'll be a little more interesting. So again, I think they may have some. Now, the main event of the show was not a match. The main event of the show was a talking scene.
Life is messy.
All right.
85% more time.
Ánimo, les dará la confianza y frescura que necesitan para ganar.
Oh, look, man. More than for the rock.
Solo Sikoa all of a sudden is standing way up on.
Am I not allowed to call that out as a fan of the show? I don't know. I didn't like it. Match was fun. The ending was a little clunky. Io wins. Charlotte takes out Bayley for cheating. And I don't know where we go from here. Clearly, Asuka deserves another match because she got fucked over. Don't know what she's doing out there. Don't know what she's doing talking about the Women's Championship. Because she's Charlotte fucking Flair.
Exactly.
This is between Io and Asuka, not Charlotte.
Yeah.
Get her out of there. Io wins, 20-minute match. Good stuff. I'd like to see a rematch at Fastlane.
Yeah.
But then again, I ask, where does that go? Because Asuka's got to lose again. Maybe we get a triple threat match. Maybe we get Charlotte, Io, and Asuka for the Women's Championship. The Bloodline. They were backstage with Adam Pearce. Apparently there's problems with the Bloodline. Heyman, Solo, and Jimmy were hanging out. Pearce walked in with a contract for this tag team match with John Cena and AJ Styles. Heyman said, well, listen, I don't give a shit when the match happens as long as it's not tonight. He's fine with it. Well, Pearce says, fine, it's not tonight. It's at Fastlane. Heyman then asks, well, who made that decision? Clearly, Adam Pearce did. Jimmy said, it looks good to him, so they'll be in the ring to sign the contract. Jimmy was very enthusiastic, while Heyman and Solo were a little bit more subdued. Heyman looked over at Jimmy and said, well, listen, you know, normally decisions like this need approval and authorization from Roman Reigns first. Jimmy told Heyman to tell him what the chief says. He then got up, laughed, and left. Heyman told Solo not to worry about it. Solo said that after tonight, there will be no one left to fight them at Fastlane. And he showed his thumb all wrapped up, ready for the Samoan fight. Heyman then took his phone, picked it up, and said, call Roman Reigns. The Brawling Brutes. We got a tag team match with Grayson Waller and Austin Theory versus Butch and Ridge Holland. Before that, we got a vignette about Kit Wilson and Elton Prince, with Elton Prince rehabilitating his catastrophic shoulder injury. Had this dramatic music playing.
Paul Heyman says he's the second greatest of all time. Oh, signature for his partner. Jimmy then grabbed
Are pretty dead.
Yeah.
Lee. Always forget the LY, man. I always forget the LY. It always escapes me, man. Pretty dead. Yeah. Listen, I'm sorry, man. A doctor then walked in and said Elton has a separated shoulder and he'll be fine. Obviously, they over-embellished his injury.
Yeah, what the hell are these two
The
doing?
tone suggested Elton was making a lot more of it than he really needed to. Brawling Brutes, Grayson Waller, Austin Theory. This went 10 minutes. This was fun, man. I really like this. I like the team a lot of Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. I think they're a fine tag team. I would not be opposed to this being a semi-regular, regular tag team. Honestly, they both can do singles, but I would not be opposed to them winning some matches and then becoming a solid tag team together, man. I think they work very well together. I think Grayson works off of Austin Theory. I think Austin Theory works off of Grayson Waller very well. So, Waller, he beat up Butch to begin the match. Butch came back and he did the joint manipulation that he's usually known for. Let me at him! Let me at him, Scoob! Frankie? Anybody got any Scooby snacks for this guy? Joint manipulation on Waller. Butch tagged in. Or Butch tagged Holland in. Sorry, Butch was already in. Holland tagged in. Holland swung at Waller and lifted Waller for a suplex. Butch tagged back in.
Really drag this segment out as long as they possibly can. But the match is official. John Cena, though, is down a partner. So right now we got one signature on the contract, but no signature for his partner. And conspicuous by his absence, there are some people who tuned in late who may not be aware of this, but LA Knight was not on the show tonight. He was not mentioned, not featured in any of the segments. The crowd here was chanting for Cody. It's interesting that they weren't chanting for LA Knight.
Cody. They weren't chanting for Cody. They were chanting for Rocky.
Cody is the one they were chanting for.
I hear Cody.
It was pretty apparent.
They were chanting for
watching
Rocky.
this that LA Knight was going to be the one to kind of save the day. And then the reason that he didn't, he missed it at the beginning, is because LA Knight was supposed to be in this segment. He was pulled late in the day and sent home, or sent away from the building, because he tested positive for COVID. I guess they only found out about it later. So he was sent away, and I guess they just decided, well, we're not going to replace him, or they didn't have somebody to replace him fast. LA Knight is sick. Hopefully he'll be okay. Maybe in a week he can be back on the show, and then they can reveal that he's the tag team. But that is why LA Knight was not on the show. That is why nobody came out to save John Cena. So this guy is sick, and he's going to be out for a week or two. He can still work the pay-per-view. The pay-per-view is still a couple weeks away. So LA Knight does not have to lose his spot. I hope for his sake that he doesn't. Because there really is no other obvious choice. If AJ Styles is going to be out for a while, they already shot the injury out. He should be back on TV next week. And that leaves LA Knight and Cody Rhodes possibilities. Now with Cody, you could explain it by finally revealing that Cody is the person.
Yeah. Oh, my bad. All right. It's JD from New York.
Geeks. I still pay attention. All because I don't cover it doesn't mean I don't watch it. This was a good match, man. I like the makeup of this team. I really do. I think they got something cooking here with these two, honestly. You know, the Brawling Brutes, man. It sucked to see the Brawling Brutes. Again, I mentioned this with Drew on Thursday's stream because I mentioned that WWE's got some free agents coming. Sheamus is one of them in 2024.
Yeah.
Sheamus has been very vocal about how WWE
they are.
just kind of wasted him and the Brawling Brutes. They had plans and then they just kind of wasted the team away and they lost all their momentum.
Exactly.
Going into War Games last year, the Brawling Brutes were the number 2 faction in all of WWE next to the Bloodline. They're not even in the top 5.
Yeah.
It's a sad state of affairs for the Brawling Brutes. Don't know what we're doing with Sheamus. Don't know what we're doing with Butch or Rich Holland. It's time to drop that name Butch and give us Pete Dunne back on the main roster and get him going by himself.
And I agree, Pete Dunne should be on the main roster. Hopefully Pete Dunne is there. It's been like a year now since he's had the name, but I think they should go back to Pete Dunne. Hopefully.
That's what I think we need to do. I think he'd be a fine choice for the United States Championship, a fine choice for the Intercontinental title, something along those lines. The Brawling Brutes need some wins. Pete Dunne is great in the ring. Austin Theory is great in the ring. Grayson Waller, very good in the ring. But the Brutes can't be losing every fucking match you put them in there against, man.
Yeah.
And Waller, he's getting. And I was worried about him on the main roster. WWE. Well, first of all, we didn't know he was really hurt. Number one. Now that he's cleared and he's good to go, and he's wrestling now, he's starting to adjust himself to the main roster.
Yeah.
Which is a great thing to see. Is there a true tag team run in these guys? Is it going to be for the long term? I don't know, but I'd like to see it.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it. Believe it or not, man, we talked about makeshift tag teams. A lot of these tag teams in the WWE, especially in the women's division, are just teams randomly paired together. None of them ever work. They're always just so awful. This works. So this is a semi-permanent thing for now. I'd love to see more of it. WWE could do a lot worse than fucking Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. I'll tell you that right now.
Yep.
So I'm liking it, man. But let's get the Brawling Brutes some momentum, man. It's sad to see where the group is falling.
I agree.
Next week, we got Charlotte Flair. She goes one-on-one with Bayley. Bobby Lashley is a guest on the Grayson Waller Effect, and Rey Mysterio will battle Santos Escobar for the WWE United States Championship.
Yep.
Why does it always feel like this stream is the shortest of the week? I don't get it. I mean, what am I reviewing here, man? Am I reviewing a fucking house show? There's just no substance on this show. Stream is already over, man. We're at the main event already. Adam Pearce is in the ring. He introduced John Cena. Cena ran out. He signed the contract. AJ Styles music played. Styles did not come out. Where's AJ? They cut backstage where Jimmy was beating up on AJ Styles. Jimmy slammed Styles' face first onto one of the rolling production crates. Cena leaves the ring. He ran to the back. Solo showed up. He stood up high. Heard a big crash. Bodies being thrown about backstage. All of a sudden, Pierce was there. He climbed over the crates to try and check on Styles. Referees and producers showed up to check on Styles. Cena finally gets there. Checked on Styles. They cut to a commercial break. Styles was being rolled out of the arena on a stretcher. They put him on a gurney coming back from break. Cena was checking on him. They replayed the attack, the gruesome attack backstage. Heyman walked out to the ring, and Styles was being loaded into the ambulance. They drive off. Meechin was there. Carl Anderson was there. Anderson told Cena he's been telling Styles not to get involved with the bloodline stuff, and this is what happened.
Yep.
Anderson and Meechin got in the ambulance with AJ, and then it drove off. So Heyman's in the ring, Solo's in the ring, Jimmy's in the ring. Fans are booing. The tables and chairs were still in the ring for the contract sign. Solo threw it all out of the ring and cleared the ring. Heyman said, "Ladies and gentlemen," fans booed so loud he had to stop his ring entrance. "They boo ladies in Arizona," he said. He then introduced himself as Paul Heyman. He told the fans they can boo his kosher tuchus if they want. Jimmy said Cena should go as far from the bloodline as he can. Cena ran out because he wanted revenge. He fought past Solo at ringside, took Jimmy down in the ring. Solo charged into the ring. Cena lifted him onto his shoulders. Jimmy super kicked him. Solo then gave Cena a Samoan spike. Jimmy splashed Cena off the top rope, signed the contract, and smiled while doing it. He then handed the contract to Solo, who also signed it. Cole said the problem is Cena doesn't have a partner.
What the hell? Come on now. Come on, man. You gotta be kidding me. I hate when it does this every time. Every time my TV goes to black. It's really annoying. I hate when it does this.
Hang in the balance. The gates of agony for Brian Cage. Like some hangman Page playing Slang. You imagine me, you get it. Well, look like there's been another talk. It's time for the
Going to be LA Knight. I'm assuming it was going to be LA Knight, but nobody showed up. And then Fightful dropped the news that LA Knight was suffering from a medical issue. And they had to pull him from the show. So they just left the main event segment in the same without LA Knight and John Cena getting beat up without being saved by anybody. So we'll see how that transitions into next week. Cena doesn't have a partner. So Jimmy went up top, splashed Cena again with a frog splash. Solo and Jimmy raised their arms in the air and pointed to the sky. We the ones. Cole said Cena learned what happens when you get involved in bloodline business as SmackDown goes off the air. I'm assuming we get LA Knight next week to come out and save John Cena, and then we get the match for Fastlane. John Cena and LA Knight versus Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa. But like I said in the beginning, where does that leave the championship match going into Crown Jewel? Because as soon as we get through with Fastlane, Roman is making his way back to television. And Roman will be defending that championship at Fastlane. Against who? I don't know. Is it going to be John Cena or is it going to be LA Knight? I don't know, man. And where does AJ Styles fit into all this? Is AJ Styles going to take it out on John Cena for not backing him up? Maybe we get a rekindling of the John Cena AJ Styles feud. I have no idea. Again, you know, there's a lot of convoluted mess on Friday Night SmackDown. It doesn't really seem to be going in one direction, and you kind of get a sense that it's going in that direction. It could be multiple directions, but I don't really think that's done by design. I genuinely feel like WWE doesn't know where they want to go.
Yeah.
But Roman Reigns and LA Knight,
Yeah.
I just have a sneaking suspicion that they are going to book that match for Crown Jewel. And I don't agree with that at all. I don't. Because I see it already. I hear it already online. All the fucking blue check marks who do nothing but fucking engagement farm all day long because they got no friends, no life, and no hobbies. They take recycled fucking content and spawn it off as their own, thinking that Elon's going to give them a fucking paycheck. You know, LA Knight being in the ring with John Cena is going to make you a bigger guy, and then he's going to wrestle Roman Reigns, man. What a spot. Even if he loses, it's not going to be that big of a deal, man. LA Knight should win. LA Knight needs to win. He doesn't need to go into a match with Roman Reigns and then all of a sudden stifle his momentum. What happens when he loses? What happens when he loses? He goes right back to the bottom of the barrel, right? He's fucking great. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
If LA Knight goes to Crown Jewel and wrestles Roman Reigns and loses, I'm taking his gimmick. I'm going to be known as JD Knight or NY Knight. NY Knight. Yeah!
Yeah.
Fuck out of here. Ridiculous. That's your Friday Night SmackDown. Feels like these streams are getting shorter and shorter every fucking week. What's going on here, man?
Yeah.
Ray.
All right, hold on.
Key. They opened the
All right, hold on a second. I have to check something. Anyway, might will finish up my video. Now I can talk about the releases in WWE. Have to find the right video first. Now, uh, now, as I said earlier in my video, we talked about the Smackdown releases from yesterday, even some today. You know, Matt Riddle being released, Dolph Ziggler, Mustafa Ali, Shelton Benjamin, Emma, Madcap Moss, there are a lot of people released today. Might want to talk about it now. My bonus show is from JD from New York and Andrew Baydala, where we talk about the WWE releases.
Working overtime today for sure, and yeah, I'm getting into the mix and cranks and meetings and stuff like that. But man, what a day! Unfortunate news and some fortunate news, but
So these releases were yesterday, by the way. We had Mustafa Ali, Emma, Rick Booz, Top Dollar, Elias. Oh, actually, wait. Wait, I probably should watch the other one. Hold on. Dr. Really.
Check it.
Is this the right one? Hold on.
Just want to give my final thoughts on the WWE.
Never mind. Never mind. I might want to show you JD from New York and Andrew Baydal. They'll talk about the releases.
news. But you know, we'll take a different approach to this whole thing that happened today. Myself and JD, and I mean, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it really is. I did not expect anything to happen this quickly. I expected it to happen, but not literally within the same week where we had over 100 people fired from WWE because of the merger with Endeavor. We're going to get into that. I got the list of names. I would really want to preface this by saying, please stop and just hold off on predicting who's going to be next. Nobody wants to lose their job, and we don't want anybody to lose their job. I've seen it all over social media with troll accounts and people pretending to be SAP, reporting news about people getting released. Just calm down. We're going to go over this in the most timely fashion and the most respectful fashion. We've got the listed names. We're going to talk about each one of these names, and we're going to talk about the Smackdown moving to USA Network deal, as I have a lot to say on that as well. Drew, the floor is yours. Like I usually do on Tuesday. Let's start this off with what you want to start with.
Well, I want to say this. We are not going to take your typical doom and gloom approach here on this episode of TNT. It is a special episode, obviously, for good circumstances and obviously some bad, some unfortunate. But JD doesn't know this, but the game we're going to play today, and it's not really a game because it's people's lives, but we're going to predict where people are going to end up. We're not going to predict their downfall or how WWE mismanaged them or didn't use them the way we would like to see them. We get it. These are people's lives, people's jobs. Have a heart today. I understand there's a lot of content creators jumping on the bandwagon of doing shows and everything else like this. This show was going to happen. I called JD at 8 o'clock this morning, and this show was happening before the talent cuts had occurred. We were going to talk about Smackdown. That's the big picture here. But we will also talk about where we believe this list of talents will end up. All of them will end up somewhere, just where. But again, I urge you all to be appreciative of what you have. All those men and women were living out their dreams. Those dreams are now ending, some for the better, some for the not. They'll all find their ways regardless. And today is the day to have compassion. Do not talk about how this person should have got released, how that person shouldn't have. That's just tone deaf, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And before Drew gets into what we're going to start off with, I want to read this tweet as a starter from Matt Cardona. Absolutely love Matt Cardona. I'm a huge fan of his, even more so now than I was then when he was with the E. He said this about an hour ago on Twitter. To those who were just released, this can be the end of your career, or it can be the beginning. And he highlights end and beginning in capital letters. Look yourself in the mirror and decide. I promise you the work and the money, which he highlighted in capital letters as well, is out there. It's not easy. It's a grind. It's a hustle. It's frustrating. But it's also something that can be incredibly rewarding in more ways than one if you work your fucking ass off. I hope to see a lot of you down the road. That tweet went viral in the wrestling community with almost 16,000 likes. Shout out to Matt Cardona. He's absolutely owning everything right now as the indie god, and he is absolutely correct.
No doubt about it. Matt said everything that he needed to say, and it was very well said, in my opinion. Matt knows. Matt was released, and everyone was like, well, where's Cardona going to end up? He's going to go here, he's going to go there. Matt carved out his own path, and Matt seems to be doing very well for himself. A Long Island man like myself and JD here. So I love to see men and women thrive, especially in something that they love. And listen, you want to talk about some big money, Cardona and Ziggler on the indies, and they can make a lot of money.
Sure, man. Well, let me call it past the glory. Let's get Dolph over there already, man. Cardona's our world champion. I'd love to see that. But yeah, man, let's start this show. What do you got to start off with?
All right, well, let's why don't you run through the names? I'll start off with a couple, go one for one. I want to, where do you think they'll end up? Will it be Impact? Will it be AEW? Will it be New Japan or Ring of Honor? Whatever. They're all tied under the AEW umbrella besides New Japan. But that's I want to say this too. The beautiful thing about what happens today, it's always darkest before the dawn, right? But the business is so healthy. All of these men and women will end up somewhere. And that's such a good thing because realistically, 10 years ago, that wasn't the case, right?
Yeah. Impact, I mean, neither Drew or myself watch Impact, but I know Jesse, my other co-host on Wednesday nights, loves Impact and fell in love with Impact recently. They, according to some of the people that watch that regularly, are putting on some of the best television right now that people aren't watching. Shout out to them. Some of these names can end up over there. I do want to, again, Drew, preface this. I know the industry is thriving and there's a lot of money to be made in pro wrestling now. A lot of these names may end up somewhere. A lot of these names may end up on the indies doing indie work. As far as AEW being the second biggest promotion in pro wrestling right now, with how loaded they are, how likely is it that Tony Khan's going to be looking at the list of free agents that come out today and be interested in bringing some of these names in? I mean, isn't he already stuck with some problems over there with a loaded roster and he doesn't know what to do with half the people that he has employed already?
You know what, JD? It's a really good question. I think, truthfully, what Tony should do is, if there's an opportunity, obviously, to do something special and to do something unique, take it. But for me, I think he should focus on what he has because last night was a great launching pad again for where they want to go. And I cringe at the thought of having maybe more bloated roster.
Yeah. Some of these names, one or two of these names, I could absolutely see Tony Khan being interested in. But let's start with this one that broke. And I thought it was actually a fucking work, to be honest with you, because Ali, in just a couple of weeks, is wrestling Dominic Mysterio at No Mercy, NXT No Mercy for the North American Championship. And that match is now not happening because Ali posted on Twitter that he's no longer with the company and he will see everybody down the road. Again, I thought this was a troll job. And it goes to show you, Drew, that some of the higher ups, some of the suits and ties aren't really paying attention to every piece of WWE show across the board. They're not paying, close enough attention to every aspect of WWE. Otherwise, a move like this wouldn't have been made to basically stifle Shawn Michaels' creative down there when this has been something that's been planned for weeks now.
No, that's not it. I think this is mutual. I think
Really?
Mustafa wanted out. Yeah, I think he wanted out. I think obviously he would have done what he was asked to do.
Yeah.
That's because he is a professional. But I do believe that Mustafa Ali wanted out of WWE.
I'm not surprised by that at all. I mean, he's been quite the character online about wanting his release, asking for his release, not being granted his release. I thought a move to NXT was actually going to revitalize him. I guess he felt like he was stuck in the same boat down there by not really advancing what he had in mind for himself. But, going back to your original question, Ali, I'd love to see him perfect his craft in AEW. I mean, that's a tailor-made partnership there. I think the way Ali wrestles is great for AEW. But honestly, I'm going to say Ali would fucking kill it in Impact, bro. I think Ali and what he does would be absolutely perfect for that X Division.
I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. Every one of these talents is going to kill it with a career revitalization, whether it's Impact, Ring of Honor, under the AEW umbrella, New Japan. I think some of them, like Top Dollar, AJ Francis, I think he could easily go be an analyst somewhere for college football, for whatever. I don't know if he has any more legs in the wrestling business, but at the end of the day, somebody like Mustafa Ali, I would love to see an AEW. I agree with you there. He would kill it in Impact Professional Wrestling as well. I just think that these men and women need to truthfully absorb, comprehend, and then make the best financial decision and also the best career decision. You don't necessarily need to jump over to AEW and be like, well, they're on national TV. The Edges of the world, the Adam Copelands, that's your next logical step. For me, if you really want to get your career back on track, take the, you want to get it back on track, take the Drew McIntyre approach. Yeah, went independent and then won a bunch of championships under Impact, all this other stuff. That's what I would do.
How many
fits?
Yeah, he does. How many times was Ali pigeonholed into doing what WWE wanted him to do and not giving him the freedom to do what he wanted to do and express his creativity? Now he has an entire industry to go out there and express himself the way that he wants. I mean, if I'm Ali, I'm looking at this as a fucking win situation for myself because, he didn't get across what he wanted to do in WWE. Now he has the opportunity to do that whatever he wants. I mean, that is liberating. That's got to make him feel good at the end of the day. If he really did X for his release and now he can do whatever he wants, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and the thing here is that realistically, I think Mustafa Ali was doing some of his best work when he was anti what they wanted in quote unquote the storyline. So I think him and AEW works. It's a match made in heaven. That's where I think he'll end up. But again, if there's something bigger and better for him, maybe on independence for a little bit, and even Impact, where he can really make his name more impactful, no pun intended, do it. Because here's the thing, guys and girls. I mean, I would bet a lot of money in my bank account right now that Adam Copeland is headed to AEW. That's a big fish. So, again, you want to get swallowed up by, Adam Copeland's debut in AEW and kind of what they got going on. I wouldn't want to be a small fish in a giant pond, especially at this release. I'd try and be a small fish in a medium-sized pond. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the rumor right now. Adam Copeland may end up with AEW, Mercedes as well, Mercedes Moné, and Sasha Banks. So they have their own things to worry about. Ali and all of these names could realistically end up with AEW, but Tony Khan should really focus on getting AEW back on track instead of bringing in more names and then having his creativity and his creative stifled. But Ali, one of the more talented names on this list of people. Let's go to Top Dollar, Drew. You mentioned Top Dollar.
Sure.
He is somebody that I had high hopes for coming out of NXT when Triple H was in charge. I felt Hit Row was called up way too soon. I got in some trouble with all those individuals because I had predicted their demise. Unfortunately, I was right. I didn't want to be right. When they hit the main roster the first time, they took that as a negative and thought I was against them. That's not the case. They got brought back. I was excited again for them because I love seeing people get a second chance. And then all of a sudden, they kind of fell right back into the original spot that they were in, and they weren't used. And they were basically used as enhancement talents. Top Dollar clearly Yeah, I respect what he did, Drew. I know getting into the pro wrestling realm is not the easiest thing to do, especially for a guy that size. But truthfully, from me to you, talking buddy to buddy, I didn't really see a lot of money in Top Dollar or what AJ Francis was bringing to the table. He didn't really round out what WWE is looking for as a pro wrestler. He was slow. He didn't really grasp onto it as quickly as others, and he was very one-dimensional. With that saying, I do agree with you saying that he could potentially do something football related. Maybe he just throws in the towel for pro wrestling. He did it, he tried it didn't work out, move on to something else. But at the end of the day, I wish him nothing but the best because getting in there is fucking difficult to do, and he did it.
Yeah, and here's the thing: I think AJ Francis would 100% be a great color analyst for College Game Day, whatever he wants to do. I think he'll make some money on the independent scene as well because as soon as you come off WTV, you're going to make some money. So, I think that's logical for him. So I think his wrestling days are behind him. Who am I to say? But I do believe that AJ Francis will probably be one of the few who kind of finds their niche and their potential massive revenue gain in something outside of the pro wrestling.
And he's talented. He's a musician. He raps. Obviously, he's very talented in that respect. So, I mean,
it is extremely hard. I want everyone who's watching this, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it is extremely hard to make the NFL. Not only make a practice squad, but to make an active roster. So for everyone saying AJ Francis was a flop in the wrestling ring, okay, great. That does not discount anything he's done in his professional career. The man is an athlete, and he'll be just fine.
Well, how many football players came through the system and didn't make it? I mean, the numbers got to be fucking staggering. I mean, not everybody could be a Brock Lesnar or a Kurt Angle coming from the Olympics and doing that thing. Look at Gable Steveson. I mean, he got off to a fucking terrible start. You're not going to have the next Kurt Angle, the next Brock Lesnar overnight.
Exactly.
So, where I like him, truthfully, as a heater, someone's manager. Go over to AEW and go work with Swerve. Let him be a manager. He doesn't need to get in the ring. He's big. He's a bad mother. You know what? I mean, just let him do that, and let him be the heater. That's what I would do.
And he can talk. That's the biggest thing he's got going for him. So. He was let go. We don't know anything about Ashante Adonis or B-Fab. So right now they are still together. I don't know what the plan is there. Reportedly, there are more cuts to be made, and NXT cuts, according to Brian Alvarez, will be made by 5 p.m. today. So I guess we picked a good time to go live because everything kind of has slowed down right now. Top Dollar, Mustafa Ali, Emma was another one. A sad tweet she put out, Drew, because she was retweeting about the Australian show that was just announced, Elimination Chamber. You and I actually talked about this on Tuesday. I predicted that it may be Elimination Chamber. That's what it was. She was excited to potentially be a part of that, and then legitimately half an hour after that first tweet, she's like, "Oh, never mind. I just got released." I mean, that's fucking terrible, man. I can't imagine what Emma's going through. And Emma's fiance, Riddick Moss, was also let go as well. So this was a 2-for-1 deal, unfortunately, for WWE. Emma was brought back, man. I thought she did fine work on Impact and wherever else she went after her first initial WWE run. But I mean, they didn't do anything with her, bro. It's like you're looking at the roster. If you're Vince McMahon, you got your fucking old man glasses on. You're looking to think, what is this woman doing? Get rid of her. It's like, what do you expect to happen?
Yeah, I think there's only so many hours in a television show weekly that they have. And realistically, there's guys and girls under contract right now that haven't seen television yet. So, I mean, I get it. And it's unfortunate that this happens. I think both of them will find homes. I think Emma is a great fit in AEW. He needs a little bit more in the women's division. I could see her in Impact. I could see her doing a whole bunch of things. The run back in WWE wasn't for me. There's been a lot of talent that coming back just haven't done it for me. But realistically, like I said, stay on the positives here, and I think she'll end up AEW Impact.
Yeah, it's tough, for someone like Emma and most of these names, they were never really given an opportunity to even showcase what they're made of. I mean, Emma, she had a run-in with Ronda Rousey for one match on Smackdown, I remember, and that was basically all I remember from this current run. She got brought back, and, the powers that be just sent her out there like, no video package, no return vignette or anything, no coming attraction. Oh, yeah, Emma's coming back to the WWE. I want to be positive, but at the same time, I got to be honest. These talents never really stood a chance. They were never really given an opportunity to show the audience what they're truly made of. And WWE Creative never backed them from day one. So, they were behind the 8 ball, before they even, before they even saw what was coming. Like it sucks. It's just a terrible situation. How could you thrive in that type of environment?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. And unfortunately, with mergers, which some of you may have been or may not have been a part of in your professional career, this stuff happens. This is a little bit different. Normally, after a merger, we see the cuts come on what we saw, kind of the corporate side. Well, there's talent involved in this type of merger because of the entity that it is. World Wrestling Entertainment and Ultimate Fighting becoming TKO, part of Endeavor. So there's actual talent that goes with these mergers. So it is unfortunate she was never really given a chance. But they're going to look at their books here, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to say, all right, how much have we maximized this person's television time? No. Okay, this person's getting paid this amount of money. All right. Well, you want to know what? We're not really maximizing this. It's kind of a net negative. Unfortunately, we have to make a tough decision today, and that's what happened.
Yeah. Emma, Riddick Moss let go, which I was actually surprised by because I know Paul Heyman was very high on Riddick Moss, and a lot of people were high on Riddick Moss. He had a great body. He had a very good look. He was decent in the ring, and they just didn't really do much with him. I think the last we saw of him was in a feud with Karrion Kross on WWE television on Friday night, and that was basically it. So he was let go. Emma was let go. Rick Boogs was let go. I remember seeing Rick Boogs when I made my first trip to NXT, and he had this gimmick where he came out. He had the tassels around the arm, and he looked very fucking vintage, retro 80s, playing air guitar and air drumming on NXT television. I fell in love with him because I'm a big metalhead, and he got transitioned to the main roster. Say again?
You look like the Ultimate Warrior.
He did, kind of. He got transitioned to the main roster. They didn't really know what to do with him. They kind of shed that NXT gimmick, which I love because it was very character based. They put him with Nakamura. It didn't really make any sense. He became Nakamura's hype man, playing electric guitar during Nakamura's intro. Then he got hurt. Then they moved him to Raw, and they didn't do anything with him post draft. And here we are.
He got over.
He did get over, and
he got over with that.
And listen, I love Boots. Boots is very charismatic. I don't know how they didn't do anything with him, but unfortunately, he was one of the individuals let go today. It's pretty sad.
Yeah, again, somebody who's got a ton of charisma who will easily find his way, whether it's acting or another promotion. He will be just fine. And again, I know everyone's like, well, AEW and Ring of Honor, no, I see all the predictions. Guys, there are only so many spots that can go around. And again, AEW is loaded talent. Yeah, I'm not talking about like talent you may or not like. They have a lot of talent. There's employees.
Yeah. It's something to maybe reach for if he wants to continue this path. Work at it, work the indies, do what you got to do. Your creativity now is completely free reign. You can do whatever you want. Go back and do what WWE didn't allow you to do on the indies. Work to get to that point if you want to be in an AEW. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but right now, Boogs gone. Aaliyah gone. I mean, to me, like you were talking about net positives and negatives, but this was a complete negative. They didn't really have any plans for her. I know she won the tag team titles with Raquel Rodriguez at one point or another. Again, no loss here for WWE. It's sad that she lost her job, but hopefully she finds her footing somewhere if she wants to continue doing this. Aaliyah let go. Elias let go. A lot of people were actually upset about this.
Well, again, something where it's like, okay, we have this man under contract, and we're not using him. We don't have anything for him at home, getting paid. And at the end of the day, you make a tough decision, and that was one of them. I don't think it was extremely tough because he's not involved in any major storylines. This is another person who, if he wants to, will find a home very quickly. He's charismatic and can easily kind of change what he was doing. Because I think the Elias character is done, realistically. He could do something, I think, very dark. He could do something. I mean, he's chiseled out of granite. So
he looks the part. Absolutely looks the part. I loved the Drifter when he was in NXT before they called him up. He was just like a rogue, like some rogue fucking acoustic guitar player, just doing his own thing. I don't know how they didn't pair Boogs and Elias together in some sort of like heavy metal fucking Drifter like tag team. I mean, that to me that would have made a whole bunch of sense, and I think there was even something there where they kind of crossed paths post draft. I don't know why they didn't really experiment with that. They need tag teams. It made sense to put those two together, but Elias gone. They ran through the gauntlet with him. They didn't really have any creativity. He continued to do the same thing over and over again on television. Yeah, he plays television. Somebody comes out to interrupt him, and then that's basically Elias' character.
if you think about some things that the man accomplished in his career too, seeing a Taker at WrestleMania and then the Raw or after SummerSlam, was it Mania? The Raw after Mania? Maybe I don't know when it was.
I think it was that, yeah.
Yeah, he interrupted. Maybe it was for Saudi. I don't know. But Taker interrupted him. Elias had some big moments in WWE, and both of them, Elias and Aaliyah, had not wrestled. I think it's been like 6 to 8 months. Realistically, I mean, Elias might have been on something on Raw maybe 4 or 5 months ago, but he hasn't been a part of WWE, and Aaliyah hasn't wrestled a match in a very long time.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, I see you in the chat. Yes, and they still have Nia Jax. Yes, I know. All these people got fired, but we added Nia Jax to the roster.
Well, here's the thing. Again, it's the I will say that. I will say that with WWE, when they released the Smackdown news, I was like, cool, that's the news for the day. And then the cuts came, and I was like, okay. But I think this had to happen before Friday because you have a show to run on Friday, that being WWE. So they wanted both of this to kind of hit, and it's just unfortunate timing. They wanted the Smackdown news to hit first, obviously good news, then bad news, but they want to be able to say something on SmackDown. Hey, next year when on the SmackDown will be on the same network. So it's unfortunate time.
Yeah. Shelton Benjamin, another one, unfortunate. He's gone. I know he's up there in age. He's nearing 50. He still looks fucking great for his age. I know a lot of people were hurt about the Hurt Business not really being together and being disbanded by Vince McMahon. Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, he's another name that I worry about. He may, again, find his way out of WWE at some point if this is the trend that we're going in. But Shelton Benjamin, Drew, I feel like they really missed the boat on his return. They did nothing with him. I thought he was a great fit with Bobby Lashley and Cedric Alexander. And to not keep someone like this is what I don't really understand. To not keep someone like this around who's very knowledgeable and unbelievable at what he does to work with the younger talent, I find that to be a miss. How do you feel about Shelton Benjamin being let go and not being used in other aspects to better the company?
I would say that Shelton Benjamin, if I'm making a prediction here, I think Shelton Benjamin has been one of the most insanely gifted talents that WWE has ever had. That's not a prediction. And I will also say that the Hurt Business is one of my favorite factions. I thought it really helped both Shelton, Bobby, and Cedric, especially Bobby, who really did not show his character upon returning to WWE. He wasn't really talking much. So I was in the building. People were jacked for him because he cut off that very good Impact run. But it wasn't, it started to flounder. Shelton, I think, prediction-wise, I think could easily do the independents for a little bit and become a performance center coach. Easily. He's got so much talent, so much to give to the business. Also, Shelton would fit what Mox and Claudio and some other guys are doing over there in AEW. So really depends on what they want to do with the Blackpool Combat Club. But I could see that one. And I could see him going back to Impact for a little bit. I know he had a small run there. Honestly, if I'm betting money, I would say that Shelton ends up at PC in 6 to 9 months.
I like that Combat Club, correlation there. I think he would fit perfect with that.
He doesn't have to talk much. That's the thing. Wherever he goes, he doesn't need to talk. He just needs to wrestle.
Yeah. Shelton Benjamin let go. That was towards the very end of what was the bloodbath on WWE releases. And the biggest name that WWE released today, and one that I'm actually quite surprised by because he gave more than 15 years of service to WWE and now gone, Dolph Ziggler gone from WWE. And I know a lot of people are disappointed in this. I think a lot of people are really jumping the gun here. I mean, Dolph Ziggler was great. Dolph Ziggler is a fucking fantastic pro wrestler. If you talk about, top of the top pro wrestling WWE, Dolph Ziggler is probably up there when you want to talk about the best that WWE put. No doubt about it. He's going to land on his feet. If he still wants to wrestle, I know he's got his comedy thing, and, I could see him getting into acting as well if he didn't want to pro wrestle anymore. But if he is going to remain in pro wrestling, Dolph Ziggler is going to find a job very, very quickly after his non-compete is up. Where he goes, I don't know. Indies, he can do it, and I said it then when he re-signed 5 years ago, that Dolph Ziggler should probably go out on his own and just become what Matt Cardona is now, because I can see him breaking out big time and being such a bigger name than he was in WWE. Drew, I said this on Twitter, man, he's a perfect fit for Tony Khan. I don't give a shit who you bring in. That's the guy you got to look at.
100%. It's really going to be up to Dolph. I think Dolph wanted this more than WWE wanted it. You know, I think it's something where Dolph was kind of like, hey, you know, if you're not using me, it's been a hell of a run. I've been here for a while. And he's been there since what? Looking around my office, all the WrestleManias I worked. Not as a talent. Let's get that before the photo starts. I can't clip that. I want to say he's been with WWE for a long time. 28 WrestleMania 28. Yeah, 27. And we're headed to 40. So, I mean, he's been a mainstay in WWE for a long time. I was in the building when he won his first World Heavyweight Championship. I think his only World Heavyweight Championship. Great moment. Crowd went nuts for him.
What Drew's basically saying is Dolph Ziggler's the first Battle Hall.
100%. No doubt about it. And I think AEW would be a great fit for him. But again, I think it's some of these guys are going to end up in Hollywood. I think Boogs might end up doing like television.
I could see it.
So, Ziggler wants to wrestle, sure. His brother's over there, right?
Yeah, his brother is over there. I've seen a lot of people fantasy booking already a potential tag team with his brother. I don't know what the future holds for Dolph Ziggler, but like I said, his in-ring style would be perfect for Tony Khan. No matter what you want him to do, he wants to work the indies. He can do it. I could honestly see him just shedding that WWE shell and just being who he wanted to be and putting on banger man. Dolph Ziggler's the type of guy that could go to Japan and fucking give you a 5-star match with Okada. That's the type of guy he is. I mean, if that's what he wants, he's gonna go do it.
I would love to see, truthfully, I'd love to see Ziggler sign with AEW Ring of Honor and become the Ring of Honor World Champion, and then jump to AEW's programming maybe like 6 months from now, 7 months from now, and get into whatever he wants to get into. Because Ring of Honor, and I love what they did with Kingston, but I think Ring of Honor needs some more like main event heavy players in their heavyweight division.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see him fitting on Ring of Honor, though I would put him there personally. I think Tony Khan as well, looking at Dolph Ziggler, not only for his in-ring work, he is a veteran of the game. He needs more people like that in the locker room, more people for that locker room to look up to, potentially. The knowledge that comes with Dolph Ziggler is tremendous. You need someone that is absolutely prime time ready for TV. He knows it all. Get him on the programming. I think that's a win-win situation for both Dolph Ziggler and Tony Khan if he wants to explore that. And I'm not surprised to see it. I'm disappointed, but I'm not surprised. I wish it would have happened sooner because I feel like Dolph Ziggler on this name is the most talented of all of them. But that rounds out the list of names so far. There may be more. We will keep you guys posted as long as we are alive. And if there is any more names, I will actually update you later today, video-wise. Drew, they said NXT is not going to be immune to this. NXT releases are expected later this evening, says Brian Alvarez, around 5 p.m. Eastern. And apparently, that is going to be later today. So we have more coming. Now, my thing with the NXT talent is, and I mentioned this on Tuesday, they are going back and holding tryouts for independent talent to come on in to the Performance Center. This was the way Triple H built NXT through the indies. They moved away from that for the NIL program, and they wanted to build from within, take people that didn't have any wrestling experience, and pretty much WWE wanted to mold them in their own image. And it's something that I feel like they haven't, received the return on their investment for. Now they are about to cut people. Is it going to be those NIL kids getting cut who are not making it out in the Performance Center? Is it going to be a mixture of NIL and people that they've actually put on TV that they don't find any value in? What do you make of this? Because in the summer of 2001, it was all the older indie guys that were cut from NXT. How is this going to transition now to this current NXT?
Well, unfortunately, you're going to get a corporate answer from me. I know I looked the part today because this is my normal work attire. I am not going to comment on who I believe should, will, or can be cut. I think what they're going to do is they're going to sit down like they have been doing, and they're going to see who is getting paid and what they're returning, just like any business. And I think they'll make unfortunate decisions. Do I think you're going to see big names be cut from NXT? I don't, because I think some of the guys and girls from NXT are headed to Raw or Smackdown, and they're going to need to, rejuvenate that pool, for lack of a better term. So I think, if it gun to my head, I think it would be maybe some of the NIL people, but they're not really getting paid a good amount of money from what besides a couple of them. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the names here, I'll make one prediction, and I don't like to do this because it's somebody's livelihood. I would think that Gable Stevenson might be one.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. it's going to be interesting because I know NXT right now is packaged with Raw. SmackDown went to USA Network. We'll touch on that in a little bit. Raw and NXT right now still in negotiations. You would think that they want to keep a nice looking nucleus of current stars that they have on TV right now, potential breakout stars that are about to make their way to television to really bolster NXT so that it looks like an attractive offer for NBCU or whoever is going to buy
And that's
the
your
rights
best
to
point.
Raw and NXT.
That's your best point right there.
Yeah.
The NXT cuts, Raw and SmackDown are established home run television players. Okay, the NXT stuff, WWE cannot afford to start cutting the likes of like a Braun Breaker or something like that, or a mainstay Carmelo Hayes. That's not going to happen. First of all, AEW and everybody else will be salivating at that because they're two extremely talented individuals, but they can't do this. They need to sell that product to whatever network they're trying to sell it to. So expect some lesser known names to be released in NXT.
Yeah, I will keep you guys updated personally when those names come out. I'll have a video as soon as that news breaks myself later today. Drew, this is coming from Fightful Select. Apparently, there was some frustration amongst the locker room in WWE when WWE announced the $1.4 billion SmackDown deal for them to be moved off of Fox back to NBCU for SmackDown. One top star said that most of the list barely had a chance, and I just said this literally, barely had a chance considering they weren't booked and called it a circle that could not be escaped. Another brought up that the company released Emma just after the Elimination Chamber show announcement in her home country after she had just tweeted her excitement for it. The line of thinking from many on the roster is that WWE aligned these cuts with the announcement of the Elimination Chamber and SmackDown rights fees deal in order to minimize the negative impact on the company. TKO stock dropped from $96.23 to $88.95 by 10:10 Eastern time this morning after the SmackDown announcement. The stock now sits at $86.94 as of 12:30 of the news, of the releases obviously being broken here in the community. What do you make of that? I mean, the locker room obviously has a point there, but what do you make of the news as far as the announcement for SmackDown and the stock drop?
Breaking news. Stocks will rise and fall.
Yeah.
I sold majority of my shares of WWE before the merger happened because it's just it's volatile. You never know what happens. Okay, and we all knew that the bad press is going to be the releases and everything else like that. Yes, this is typical corporate MO. Can we bury this news with other positive news? I think the boys and girls need to understand that although I'm not in that locker room, they know exactly what WWE and TKO and Endeavor is doing. So this shouldn't come as a surprise to you. This is typical. Let's bury.
All right, Mike, we'll end the video.
You're going to get replenished by all these terminations today. You're going to be replenished on the main roster with established names that WWE has put money, time, and effort into. So, I mean, at the end of the day, television may be better and more bountiful, when we get to Monday and Friday.
Right, and here's the deal. Within the last 24 hours, okay, WWE has terminated its partnership with Panini, that's the trading card company, announced the Chamber, which we talked about, announced SmackDown. So, I mean, yeah, they're trying to bury things, but I think what they're doing is, I think this is one of the first major meetings and major powwows that the board of directors with TKO is having, and they're figuring out everything that they need to do to make their.
Well, Mike, we'll end the video. Mike, we'll just end the video. Well, until next time, thank you for watching. Hit that like button, leave a comment. Please subscribe to my channel. I'll be back with more. I made my video long enough. Until next time, I'll see you later.